What's up, YouTube? It's me again. And Spider-Man 2 is a really amazing and great game, and I had a lot of fun with it. And one of the central parts about the game is the boss fights, which I felt like were much better this time around compared to the first one and Miles Morales. Um, so today, I'm going to be ranking those boss fights. Now, don't get me wrong, every boss fight is great. I really do love all the boss fights in this game. It's just some are better than others, in my opinion. And that's a central part of this. It's in my opinion. So don't get mad, and sure, you can tear me up about it in the comments, but remember, it is my opinion. So, without saying anything else, this is my Spider-Man 2 boss ranking. Okay, I'm going to be honest, I really don't know if I should consider this one a boss fight, but since it has the boss meter and there is a whole 2 phases for it, I guess I'll count it. Mysterio! And, well, based on what I just said, you should already know my opinions about this fight. First of all, it's a side mission boss fight, just like Wraith, so already not required, don't have to do it. Only do it if you want to. And most of the time, you're not even fighting Mysterio. You're just fighting his goons, like all the other, like, I think maybe 12 Mysteriums. So yeah, you're just fighting goons most of the time. And whenever you are fighting Mysterio, he's basically just like a normal goon. He just flies around, and you just beat him to a pulp. You don't have to do any parries. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes he'll just send objects flying at you. Now, this boss fight is pretty cool, mainly from the visuals, but to be honest, that's all it really got. Wraith, aka Yuri from the first game. This boss fight was interesting. It's probably going to be your second boss fight you ever do, and it's not even required. It's a side mission boss fight. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't particularly enjoy this one too much. Especially in the second time around, because her hits are so fast. Like, obviously, once you get in the rhythm of everything, it's fine, but it's just, she hits you with the most, like, weirdest attacks and weirdest timings you can imagine. Like I said, I may be bad, but from my personal experience, I don't know. It just felt weird and unusual. And like I said, it is a very short boss fight, only 2 phases, and the second phase is very annoying because she like plays hide and go seek and goes invisible, and then you have to like time like when you know you're gonna hit, and then she does this weird flying kick, and I think it even insta killed me one time. This boss fight was just weird and unusual, and I didn't really have a great time with it. But I did like the storytelling behind these two. And I did like the end of the side mission. Just the boss fight by itself, not that great. Scream, aka MJ. Man, this boss fight was emotional. It's literally just a couples therapy session between Peter and MJ. And man, this boss fight is a long one. Personally, I felt myself forgetting this boss fight a little bit, but I have to admit, it still is a fun and pretty unique boss fight. Some of her attacks are tricky. I did feel myself like getting like hit a lot more in like these boss fights. And there are a lot, of techniques to take her down. Obviously, you don't have the symbiote powers anymore. But you obviously have your sonic burst or your car alarms to make her just like go crazy, soundified, Honestly, there's not really too much to talk about this boss fight. Overall, I think it's okay. The best part about it is definitely the storytelling and the emotion between the characters. The fight itself, it's okay. It's like nothing, too special. I do like, her attacks come from her freaking symbiote-like hair. But can we take 1 second? I think I'm done talking about the boss fight. But then we take 1 second to, like, that scene where she throws him on, like, that brick, like, half wall, and, like, he has to, in his back, like, in the center of the back, hits it. Ow! Up next, we have Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee. And obviously, you're fighting him as Miles this time, seeing as, that's Miles' whole, goal for the game, to, like, hunt him down. But, honestly, this boss fight wasn't too interesting to me. It did feel very emotional between Miles and Martin Lee, I'll give it that. Obviously, with any Martin Lee, Mr. Negative boss fight, you're going to have very cool visual effects, with all the negative energy and all that. But most of his attacks were very predictable, and he only really had 1 or 2 like attacks, like side slash or up slash, and then like a dash slash. And then he would like hide away in his little orb. So I don't know. Very cool visual effects, like Sandman's boss fight, but in terms of actually fighting, very, very easy and not that entertaining. I will say, though, whenever the fight's done and you go into, like, Miles' mind, though, that is very emotional, and that was a very great scene, so that can give it props, but in terms of the actual boss fight, the only thing this boss fight's really got is, the emotional behind the storytelling and the visual effects. That's it. Next up, we have Kraven, the big man, the big evil, the like menace, like that started it all, bro. Kraven the Hunter, and honestly, his boss fight is cut short. It's only 2 phases, and it is mainly sandwiched between both Martin Lee and Peter's fight. One being an okay-ish fight, and the other being a great and exceptional fight. Now, in terms of Kraven, honestly, this fight was pretty annoying. Between all the things he did, he would just send out the dogs, and then he would hide and go invisible, and go in his little sniper. But I think this fight is personally better than Martin Lee because you're finally getting to fight the big bad you've been wanting to this entire game. Kraven's just been a menace this entire time. And honestly, if he does hit you with some of those moves are pretty interesting. Like, there's one where he literally just lifts you up in the air and then slams you down. That's cool, and I do like the fact that it's very Hunter-ish. He's using, like, smoke bombs, and then he's got his sniper, and of course, Kraven, of all people, would, like, hide and then call in his dogs, or use, like, a cheap strategy, like ringing on the bell, or getting assistance from other people. He's not doing all the work himself, and it's very Kraven-ish. I do think this fight is pretty good. It's very short. I wish it could be a little bit longer, and it is a bit tedious at times, but Kraven the Hunter did have a great final ending. Next up, we have Sandman, and I should give this boss fight credit for probably best looking visuals in a boss fight, because this boss fight hits you with a truck. You're very excited to play the game. You get in. You're like, oh, what's about to happen? And then, boom, Sandman, out of nowhere. You get to play as both Peter and Miles, and it's great. Personally, I had a lot more fun with Miles, but I definitely did love the part where Peter did get to use the spider arms. And speaking of visuals, the part where, Miles gets, like, thrown across the city, that is one of the most greatest cinematographies in this game, bro. And this game has a lot of those moments. And the boss fight, I mean, in terms of mechanics, is not that fun. Most of the time, you're just fighting little sand goons. But whenever you are actually fighting them and just swinging around, you're doing a lot of movement, and it really is like a fast-paced boss fight. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You're trying to move around like, oh, don't get hit, compared to like the same normal cycle of just, oh, beat a boss fight on the ground, pow, 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 next phase, all that crap, parry. This one, you're up and moving, you got to dodge, and besides from fighting sand goons, and obviously being a bit easy since it's the first boss fight in the game, Honestly, this boss fight was really fun, and I liked it a lot both times that I played it. Next up, the lizard. Man, anytime the lizard was on screen, bruh, it was a great time. Especially that one mission when you're on the river and Peter finally shows signs of, the symbiote just doing his thing. And man, this is such a fun boss fight. I really did like it. From him just jumping all over the walls to him just like freaking eating you and grabbing you, bro. And then mid boss fight, he just like goes around the city, bro. Um, I did say at times it did get annoying, especially during the final phase when I fought it on ultimate mode. I don't know if I'm just bad, but like he would like combo me, bro. He would hit me with the tail, scream at me, and then just chomp on me, bro. He hit me with a 1-2 lizard special, bro, and that crap would hurt, especially when you're on ultimate difficulty. But like I said, it is a very fun and fast-paced boss fight. He is very predictable, and there is a lot of different ways to take him down, especially now that you have all the symbiote powers unlocked. So, half the times it feels like you're just bodying Lizard, but I really do like the boss fight, and I really love the Lizard design. Venom versus Kraven. Insomniac really did it. Not only did they give us an entire mission to play as Venom, with full-on attacks, finishers, and abilities, but they gave us a freaking boss fight too, against freaking Kraven. And earlier how I mentioned how we had a short-lived boss fight, this completely makes up for it. Oh my, I don't even know what to say about this fight. Of course it's short, because Kraven already got a full 2 other phases with freaking Peter. But the fact that you already get to play as Venom, and you get to have a boss fight with him, I mean, of course the boss fight's going to be extremely easy. I mean, heck, the game makes you feel like you're the boss. It's just incredible. The fact that you get abilities, finishers, you really just feel like a freaking tank as Venom. Like, nothing can kill you. Now, whenever I did play the game in, I think, Amazing and Ultimate difficulty, in Ultimate difficulty, it did get a bit hard. I actually died. But nothing too hard to where you can't handle. It's extremely easy, but I don't care. It's extremely fun. The fact you're just bashing Kraven and just plowing through his men, going through the streets of New York like you own the place, and you get a whole 2 phases to rouse around Kraven. It's just an amazing fight. The fact that freaking Venom just casually kills the guy we've been trying to kill this, or, put down this entire time. What else to say? What else is there to say about this boss fight, man? MJ. Man, it pains me to put this fight in second place. Symbiote Peter, a very close second place. But looking at our first place winner, yeah, he definitely deserves first. But this was like my number 1 boss on the wish list. I wished and I hoped you would be able to play as Miles or Peter and beat the crap out of each other. And we got what we received, bro. Such an amazing boss fight. Literally, had so many memories from this boss fight, but the second time I played it around, it's still just as good. I just think that there is a fight better than it, and this fight is good in every single way, man. From the dialogue and some of the most quotable things you can think of, to like the action sequences of like just Peter and Miles just throwing hands, and then there's so many ways to take them down, from the bell to the sonic burst, and just I don't even know what to say about this boss fight, man. It's so unique. Peter literally just, uses, his powers that you've been using throughout the game to defeat, Lizard and all of them. And it's so cool to see, you know, Peter replicated as an actual boss fight, bro. It really is so cool. I'm telling you, when I first saw that health bar, oh man, I got excited. But I don't really know what else to say about this boss fight. I do know that there is one more better than it, but this boss fight is a very close second place.
We are not, Harry. We are.
And, in my opinion, the number one boss in this game, Venom. And man, this boss fight gives you everything you're wanting in this game, bruh. You get to play as both the Spider-Man. You get freaking stage changes in Peter's fight segments. Venom is just a freaking brute. He's a beast. Like, sometimes it feels like your punches are doing nothing. And honestly, I love it because the fight just goes for so long, and then you get to use freaking fully Venom evolved Miles and Anti Venom Peter, and it's great. The boss fight is great in both segments. Freaking winged Venom? Are you kidding me? He uses so many different attacks, and the boss fight goes on for so long. And there's so many cutscenes in between and emotion between the characters, and I do think the Peter boss fight is very emotional. But if this is very emotional as well, you could feel the emotion between Peter and Harry, and freaking, and this whole final mission in general. You get to play as both Peter, Miles, and heck, even MJ. Heck, you get to fight a boss as MJ, but I'm not counting it. I'm only counting the, you know, main line, or, you know, the main boss fights, the ones that count. Anyway, point is, let's continue to talk about Venom, because he's our number one. Honestly, this boss fight is so sick, and I think it is an epic conclusion, very emotional conclusion to this game. And personally, in my opinion, I think it's the best in the game. From mechanics to storytelling and dialogue and emotion to just pure fighting. The only complaint about this fight, I mean, obviously it's hard, but you know, your boy, I tanked through it. And that's not really a complaint. The only complaint I have is there's this one phase where you have to specifically use anti-venom powers against Venom, and he gets invincible. And you have to defeat his symbiote goons, but sometimes the symbiote goons turn out to be the green ones, and the green ones keep dodging your attacks while Venom is attacking you. That section's a little bit iffy, but everything else about this fight is great, and honestly, Venom is so fun in every portion of this game, and he makes for such a great boss fight. And that comes to the conclusion to the video. So if you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment down below what else you want me to do, Spider-Man 2 related, or Fortnite related, or heck, whatever games I play now related. So yeah, seems like that's it. Bye-bye.